We begin with a look at a century-old symbol of our area history that is crumbling and in danger of ending up on the scrap heap. Kara Vaninger shows us the determination of those looking for a way to restore what was once a very popular entertainment venue on the river.
Imagine living in a Missouri river town near the turn of the 19th century. Life is full of hard work. The big cities and the excitement they offer are far away, and the entire country is still recovering from Civil War. But then, one afternoon, the sound of music floats down the river, and soon the twinkle of lights appear as a showboat comes to town. Ropes are thrown to shore, and for one thrilling evening, the river becomes a stage for melodrama, comedy, song, and dance. As the decades rolled on, the showboats became increasingly lavish to compete with more modern entertainment. Eventually, the flow of the rivers became too slow for the modern age, the allure and mystery beginning to fade as train tracks and motorways consumed the frontier. By the 1940s, the showboats had all but disappeared from their once well-traveled routes up and down the Ohio and Mississippi rivers. Today, there is only one original showboat left, and it needs help. The Goldenrod, built in 1909 and rumored to be the inspiration behind the book and subsequent musical Showboat, was the star of the rivers, touring all the way from Louisiana to Pennsylvania. With a seating capacity of 1,400, it was the last showboat to work the Mississippi before being moored at the St. Louis riverfront in 1937 under the direction of Captain Bill Menke. After a devastating fire in 1962, the Goldenrod was bought by a group of St. Louis businessmen and theater lovers and was restored to an even more glamorous version of its former self. In 1967, it was registered as a National Historic Landmark. So how did this once lively, beloved attraction end up in Campsville, Illinois, in desperate need of serious renovation? In 1989, the boat was purchased by and moved to the city of St. Charles, where it continued to entertain for the next 12 years. In 2001, low water levels in the Missouri River caused the Goldenrod to run aground. When repairs proved to be more costly than expected, City Council decided to sell the boat. When no offer of purchase was made, it was given away to John Schwartz, who formed the Historic Riverboat Preservation Association. Before leaving the not-for-profit, Schwartz donated the Goldenrod to the association. However, no provision had been made for the enormous mooring fees or upkeep, and the association has struggled to keep its claim to the boat. St. Louis historian and entrepreneur Steve DeBellis was passionately involved with returning the Goldenrod to active use until his death last year. Now, the association is headed by Hugh McPheeters, a retired St. Louis attorney and history lover.
There is no other original showboat extant in the world. It also happens to be the largest and fanciest showboat ever built. In its heyday, it visited as many as 15 states. It is one of 6 National Historic Landmarks in the St. Louis area. To think that that would have been scrapped is a horrible thought.
Over the years, the grand old showboat has had many champions, but her most unlikely advocate turned out to be a teenager who turned his curiosity into action. Jake Medford first discovered the Goldenrod on a spontaneous visit with a friend when he was 19, and now, 4 years later, is vice president of the association board.
Back in 2010, it was right around October, November, my friend brought me up here and showed me the boat, and I was drawn to it. So I emailed Steve DeBellis, who was in charge of it at the time, and met with him and his crew, and he decided, well, you guys watch over it. It's kind of flown from there, created a website and social media, and actually got more volunteers through meeting people with the boat, and it's grown into what it is now.
With regard to actually being caretaker, what do you do?
Okay, well...
Do you hide in the bushes with binoculars?
Well, we have a few cameras here, and check on those regularly and make sure no one's, come on and busted through the boat. And a few times if they have, we get in here, clean it back up. secure it as well as we can, keeping an eye on it and bringing people through, showing them what it is, the importance of the boat, the history of the boat, kind of bringing photographers through. Photographers love this place.
But a chance to photograph a fading piece of history isn't the only experience that draws visitors to the Goldenrod. The boat's long and varied history has produced plenty of ghost stories, and paranormal tours are offered, by arrangement, after dark.
I've had experiences from day one of ever stepping foot on this boat. Footsteps and boat noises, but there's also, we've seen full-blown apparitions walking around on here, hear stuff out loud, been touched.
As haunted as it may be, the legacy of the Goldenrod is one of entertainment and good times.
There's been a lot of happy memories here, and it was very important to the public at one time.
This was entertainment. There was no TV. When we took our kids, and this is 30 years ago, it was dinner theater, it was campy melodrama, it was just wonderful.
Although she's seen better days, the Goldenrod still has many admirers, including a solid circle of volunteers that are constantly working to spread awareness of her plight through social media, tours, and fundraising. Barbara Lindemann volunteers her time doing research and is currently working on a history of the Goldenrod.
This is a quote from 1962 that still holds up very well, and it's a letter to the editor of the Globe Democrat. Must we let all of our glamour of the old riverboat days leave St. Louis forever? We are spending millions on the arch. Old Man River itself is the big attraction to thousands of people everywhere, and the Goldenrod is part of that river. So if we preserve the Goldenrod, the city of St. Louis will regain a part of what has been lost that attracts visitors from all over the world. And I have that same sentiment.
Preserving and reconstructing the Goldenrod for historical purposes is just part of the association's long-term goal of transforming the riverfront.
To bring it back, to have it in front of the arch, which Steve referred to as St. Louis's front door, would just be wonderful. And it would fulfill the great seal of the city of St. Louis, which is a riverboat. And you look at old pictures of our waterfront, it was just jam-packed with steamboats. We need boats back down there.
When it gets restored and everything's back to the way it used to be, I will follow. I would love to work on here. I really couldn't see myself not being a part of it.
It's valuable to St. Louis. It's got the St. Louis history, it's got the riverfront history, theater history, and it brings the whole riverfront together. Right now they're doing just the arch and the grounds, but they're forgetting about the river, and this in front of the arch would just wrap it all together.
Having a fully functioning showboat at the landing is the first step in turning our city's gaze back towards the river, transporting St. Louis residents and visitors alike into a bygone time of theater and adventure on the mighty Mississippi.